So successful is all about self-definition, which is what I was saying at the beginning. You have to decide who you want to be. And if you wanted to be Joe Schmo and you pull it off, then you'll be a pretty happy, content person. To decide who you want to be. I think the people who are miserable, it's the gap between their expectations and their reality. That's where the misery lies. Yeah. My expectations were always enormously high. Even when I was a nobody, I knew I had to be filthy rich and a kickboxer, and I knew I had to be the kind of guy that people gave a shit.
Were you happy at that point?
I know, but I knew I'm basic things. At the age of 15, I knew that if I'm the kind of guy that if I raise my voice, people are going to care. I'm not going to be the guy who starts shouting and everyone thinks it's funny. I know I'm going to be the kind of guy who is genuinely a formidable opponent in all realms of human endeavor. I know I'm going to have money. I know I'm not going to take shit.
Where did that come from, though?
I just
you can't just.
Yeah, I know.
I understand what you're saying, because my whole life I felt like there's always more. I know that there's more.
But I think a lot of people have that.
Of course.
But the people who are miserable are the people who don't try hard enough to obtain it, because I actually believe, and this is another thing I'll say, I believe the universe is very giving. I think the universe and God himself is very giving. I've yet to meet somebody in all my years who is genuinely giving 100% of themselves day after day, doesn't snake anyone, firm handshake, look you in the eye, doesn't lie to nobody, and tries 100% who doesn't get what they want. I've never seen it. Every single person who doesn't have what they want, there's something in their story that doesn't quite add up. I've yet to see some guy have you ever seen a guy who eats right and trains his ass off and never misses a gym session ever not grow? Ever.
No, never.
Not
ever.
What? Not what?
Grow.
Not grow. Not make
ever.
gains.
It's just, that's the way the universe works, right? So if you're truly about it and you're truly trying your absolute best, you're going to do it. And that's what I believe. I believe the universe is extremely giving. So when I meet somebody and they go, I really wanted this and I don't have it, I say, you didn't really want it. You're a liar.
Out of all like the successful people, most successful people in the world, would you say that all of them have like something in common in the sense of like some sort of hardship in their life? It's not.
Well, yeah. I mean, trauma is extremely important. And this actually goes back into answering the first part of your question, which is interesting. There's a study I read about stress. And it was saying that stress has a placebo effect attached to it, because the placebo effect is extremely powerful. So they found some of the most stressed people in the world, and they split them into two groups, and they're all equally stressed. They all have a bunch of cortisol in their blood.
Yeah.
The people who believed that stress was bad for you and that stress can hurt you, and they believed those media articles, were dying earlier. They were having heart attacks and they were having stress-related illnesses. The people who believe the opposite, who just said, stress is part of being successful. I like stress. When I feel stressed, I do my best. It makes me anxious. It turns my brain on. I like being stressed. Lived longer than average.
Yeah.
The point is, the same drug, how you look at it and how your body anticipates it, how you feel about it, affects the real world results, which goes back into what you were saying earlier about the jealousy. You're saying people look on social media and they get jealous and it demotivates them. That's because they decide to be demotivated by it. Do you know what happens when I get jealous of somebody? I fucking beat them.
Yeah.
If I look at somebody who has something I ain't got, I will take it from them by hook or by crook.
Well, when I watch other people on social media and I see someone killing it, like whoever it is, that fires me the fuck up.
I love it. I wish someone could make me jealous. It's hard now. I got everything. I wish I could look at somebody and go, fucker, I'm going to beat you.
Would you say jealousy is the number one? Like, because a lot of people reach out to you, right? Would you say that's the number one spark for motivation?
Well, I don't think motivation is a real thing. I don't believe in motivation as a concept. I think discipline is real, and I also think discontentment is real. And I don't think it's possible for anybody to stay in a scenario where they're truly uncomfortable. If you fall asleep on your arm and your arm really starts to hurt, even in the deepest sleep, you're going to wake up and move your arm. If you sit there and your life has been in a rut for 7 years, you are semi-comfortable in that rut. Sure, there's days you're pissed off. Sure, you're semi-annoyed by it. But there's also days where you just play video games, eat pizza, and you're kind of cool with it, and it's no big deal. If you were truly unhappy and uncomfortable and discontent with your scenario, you wouldn't be in it. So I don't believe there's anybody who's truly, when I was broke, I couldn't sleep. Yeah. I'm not saying that. Please understand me. When I was broke, I couldn't sleep. I'd be trying to go to bed thinking, how the fuck these people have Ferraris? I want a fucking Ferrari. I couldn't sleep.
But what were the first steps that you took when you're like, yo, I got to fucking change my life? What was the first thing you did? So people out there that might be going through it.
But I never had to like change my life, because my life was never wrong, because I always knew what I wanted. And I was always doing my best to get it.
I think that's like built within people.
Hold on. This comes down to self-awareness. Everyone is, like I said earlier about the outward reflection about what's happening. People aren't taught to be self-aware anymore. People are taught to just like I said, look at that guy, what he has, and be mad that you don't have it. Or like, if something's going on with me, I don't want to look inside and say, what's actually happening with me? Why am I this way? Why am I the person that I am today? Everyone goes, it's an outward. Like if I have a problem with a girl, oh, it's her fucking fault.
Oh yeah, pass the blame. Pass the blame.
Everything has been that way. And I just want to talk more about this kind of stuff, because like we're asking these questions like about like what this, but I want to figure out deeply, how do you think a man specifically in this case is able to look at themselves more comfortably without holding the judgment, the fact that they don't have the stuff over themselves, because we need to talk more about this kind of shit and critical thinking as well. We'll get into that next.
Completely. You're totally right.